Welcome to Fresh Takes on Tech, where we explore innovation and technology shaping the fresh produce industry. Hosted by Vonnie Estes, Vice President of Innovation at the International Fresh Produce Association. This podcast brings you the brightest minds and boldest ideas, transforming the future of fresh. In this episode, we explore how innovation is extending shelf life and reducing food waste in fresh produce. Rodrigo Cifuentes and Bradford of AgroFresh discuss digital tools and SmartFresh technology. Ofir Daube of Sufresca shares how natural edible coatings replace synthetic fungicides. And Agustin Büchert of ClearLeaf reveals how antimicrobial technology enhances food safety. Enjoy the show.
Hello, I'm Vonnie Estes, the Vice President of Innovation at the International Fresh Produce Association. I have two guests from AgroFresh, and so I'm really excited for them to share with you the number of product offerings that you have to benefit customers in this industry. So I will turn it over to you to introduce yourselves and then a little background on the company, and we'll go from there.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having us. My name is Rodrigo Cifuentes. I'm the Commercial Director for North America.
I'm Bradford. I'm the Global Head of Digital and Data.
Excellent. Rodrigo, do you want to talk a little bit about AgroFresh?
Absolutely. AgroFresh is a company that's been around for 25 years. Many people are familiar with the SmartFresh technology, the 1MCP technology that helps protect fruits, vegetables, and flowers from ethylene, extending the shelf life, the appeal, and the eating quality for days to weeks, or even up to a month in the case of apples. The company started many years ago being part of Roman Haas. Today is an independent company and has been growing a lot beyond 1MCP and SmartFresh technology today, including digital solutions as well. We are in a number of different crops. We're in South America, North America, Asia, Europe. We help protect apples, pears, different fruits, vegetables, stone fruits, cherries. It's a very diverse portfolio of chemical solutions, application technology, and more recently we're adding a lot of digital and sensing technologies as well.
You want to talk a little bit about some of the digital solutions?
Absolutely, Vonnie. I've been doing agricultural technology for about 12 years or so now. And within that time, I spent a lot in the broadacre sector, so dealing with wheat and corn and soybeans, potatoes, quinoa, etc. And what you often saw was maybe a loss in that sector of maybe 3 to 6% of a crop before it would actually make it to its final destination, whether it was for food processing, retail, or energy. Here in fresh produce, when I really started to examine these supply chains a few years ago, I was stunned to learn that that was about 10x that level here. We are often seeing 30, 40, 50% of the gross crop never actually make it to the plate somewhere. And so when you think of the implications to that in terms of lost opportunity for nutrition, to address hunger, and of course, most primarily above all that, climate change, because the greenhouse gas emissions, right, of all these crops that aren't making it to where they could be used are enormous. And so that really became a strong motivator for me to say there's so much technology being developed around the world today that many industries have embraced, whether that was Internet of Things or sensing or sensor-based technology, software as a service or analytics that were helping you turn data into insights so you can do something with that. There was a huge opportunity in fresh produce to start making a difference, not like years from now, but like right now to do that. So we've really started building an ecosystem around a really good software product we already had called FreshCloud. It was well known for being really the leader in post-harvest when it came to quality and storage management. And now we're growing that out both upstream into even pre-harvest applications that we're announcing here at IFPA, and then downstream into actually tracking that to where it needs to be at its final destination. So putting digital into really concrete, pragmatic frameworks to the benefit of the growers, the packers, the retailers, and ultimately the consumer.
So what I love about AgroFresh, I've been aware of the company for a long time, but as you were saying, just the whole evolution of to Roman Haas to Dow to crazy public company to private company, and then the continued innovation that you've had. So I think it's a really amazing company, and a company like AgroFresh doesn't live unless there's continuous innovation, because the old chemicals go away, you have to come up with new things. So how did you make this move, continuing to make the chemical products that are necessary and the market depends on,
Right.
But how was the decision to really start moving into digital made? I mean, you say you saw that there was an issue, but then how did you get the company going and get the resources to really invest in that?
So I think when you look at some of the innovators who have grown things through what we would call an ecosystem, is that you don't have to deploy massive amounts of capital to build everything your own or go buy that. So when you think of what Apple has done with the Apple Store over time, like they've created an entire ecosystem that now makes Apple devices what they are today, because you have really good innovative programmers developing these applications. Salesforce, right, started as a CRM system and now has grown itself into one of the enterprise class systems that are used around the world. AgroFresh had really that similar opportunity because we're in 53 countries, serving 13 different crops, really a bedrock blue chip type company in a lot of those packing operations to say, we can really go out there, Vonnie, and help evaluate a lot of technology that is maturing to say that our clients shouldn't have to take the risk on bleeding edge of something that they may or may not work and they feel like they're a guinea pig on, but allow us to run a really strong diligence process and pick the best of the best. So when something's brought in, it's an external innovation, is the way we would call it. But that way, that company has a chance to grow as part of us, and it's good for both of us.
If I could add something else, I think that it's very important. You cannot fix something if you cannot measure it. So when we look at the post-harvest systems as a whole, it's not about certain products, certain technologies, how you look at the entire system, understand where the issues are. So by adding sensing technologies and digital technology help understand what the problems are and how you can characterize it, help us also how can we improve the use of our technology, especially products, chemical products, to improve the efficacy and get better results ultimately for that customer once you understand what is driving the losses in their supply chain system. So I think there's a great marriage between using digital sensing technologies, equipment, and products to maximize that protection of freshness and quality and certainly help reduce waste.
So how did you, when you started looking at some of these technologies, and you've brought some technologies in by acquisition, right? You've acquired a couple companies.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So did you start out with, you went to your current customers and said, we're going to look and see how this works, or we're going to try, did you try to sell it right away, or did you work with them and not like a guinea pig, but like kind of product development?
It's a great question because obviously there are people in venture capital who are always looking to do that, right? Research and invest in the best companies that have promise and turn it into something. So I would say, Vonnie, part of our process is similar to that, but you're testing the technical readiness of it. You're putting it, to Rodrigo's point, in real world applications to see does it actually deliver strong, replicatable, reproducible results to what it's doing. And then you're trying to look at the actual, I would say, connectivity of that data, right? Is it truly expressible and shareable so that we put it into a cloud framework where you can start to apply machine learning, for example, to do things that might actually be predictive for our clients down the road. So we do a lot of that diligence process, but probably the latest thing that we introduced here in the last year are really putting together what we call proof of concept projects. So there are folks here today at IFPA who we've worked with specifically in different supply chains in the world to say, all right, let's deal with your avocado problem, or let's deal with your maturity problem on bananas, or let's deal with a situation you have relative to berry firmness. And we can look into, as Rodrigo suggested, is it a sensor problem? Is it a measurement problem? And then actually address that in a way that the customer says, perfect, we've now shaped that into something that I will pay for because it has a positive return on investment.
Part of the benefit of working with our customers on a daily basis, being in their packing houses and their facilities, is that you learn what their issues are. So we have a pretty good idea based on our global teams on what's going on with the customer with specific industries. So when new technologies come, to our attention, either through partnerships or acquisitions, we have a pretty good idea of what benefits could be for customers. So that creates a very good partnership, and customers always want to be trying things with us so they can learn and adopt it to their systems or operations as soon as possible. So it really helps to move it very fast.
Yeah. Do you think you'll continue to grow and expand the company through acquisition? Is that part of the strategy of looking at new companies? And
correct. So I think that, we certainly have a great ecosystem of collaboration. So we have a number of collaborations that are not acquisitions. We're working on different companies to bring their technologies into AgroFresh global customer base. We're always looking at partnerships or investments or acquisitions of new technologies that we can bring to that global customer. So yes, all of the above.
yeah, in looking at, I work with a lot of startups, and as you know, startups are going through a rough patch right now trying to get funding. But when you look at how to get technology to a customer base, I think companies like yours and the size of yours, that you can also kind of take a risk. Like you don't have to make a bunch of money off of something immediately, because you have revenue that's being generated someplace else. So I think it's really exciting to see an innovative company like yours, out there looking to bring technology in, because we want to solve these problems. That's the point.
No, it's really well said, Vonnie. I think when you look at a startup, what are their core competencies, right? And they're technologists, and then you need to give them the time and space to innovate in such a way they bring something forth to market that works. But they're typically not sales, they're not marketing, they're not all the other organs it requires to scale an organization and learn how to handle currency transfers and logistics and all the things to get a product into Argentina or New Zealand or Turkey to do that. Obviously, AgroFresh is a commercial entity that's built to do that. So I think for tech companies, it's a real win-win, to put them in this ecosystem and get them to market.
And do you sell through distributors, or do you have your own sales force, or how does...
Depends on the market and the crops. In many places we sell direct, so our customers are the end users, packing houses for the most part. In other locations in the world, depending on the crop, the number of solutions that we have, we use distributors as well. So we have a hybrid model.
I know our time is coming up here, and I know there's so much more to talk about the company, but is there a couple of points you want to make sure that people that are listening know about AgroFresh? Anything else?
So maybe to lead with a concrete example, I often think, Vonnie, helps people take all of this, sometimes corporate speak, and put it into a really concrete framework. So I give Rodrigo tremendous credit in helping us think through a use case that's impacting a lot of people who are here today at the show, which is being able to look at pre-harvest maturity and quality and do it in such a fashion that you time your harvest properly. You know the chemistry that can be offered, something like Harvista, to help regularize that, but you're able to use sensing technology to look inside, outside the canopy, and understand with a level of precision that has never been available before, and it surpasses the traditional manual methods to do that. But maybe I'll let Rodrigo close on how that becomes potentially a huge labor savings, and we know labor is an ever-increasing portion of fresh produce cost.
Yes, sorry, I think we have more ideas of probably things that we can do in the short period of time. But is that marriage of technology in the field and how you can make better decisions? That's ultimately, what we want to achieve, with this partnership, that we have internally and also with third parties. And labor is a major issue nowadays for the entire produce industry. It's not just the apple segment, it's just all across. So we have this technology that can really help manage that, environmental stresses, ripening on the tree, so growers can plan better their harvest and regulate the amount of labor that we'll need. So what we're thinking about, our solutions are not really just about freshness. Our near harvest solutions about how you can put more fruit into that box, into the packing house. So that's really how we're thinking the future for AgroFresh.
Great. That is a great line to end on. So thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate the time. And like I said, I'm a big fan of the company, and I'm looking for you to do more and more great things to solve our problems. So thank you very much.
Happy very much. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We're doing these short podcasts where I get to talk to companies that are doing really innovative things in the industry and hear about what they're doing and what their experience is here at the show. So with that, Ofir, I'm going to turn it over to you to introduce yourself and the company.
Hello, Vonnie. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here. I'm Ofir Daube, VP Product and Regulation at Sufresca. Sufresca is a young startup specializing in edible coatings made entirely of natural ingredients to extend the shelf life of fresh fruits and vegetables post-harvest. And I'm very happy to be here, part of the acceleration program.
Great. So where are you in the commercialization process? Do you have product out with customers? Are you still trialing? Where are you in that stage?
We are piloting.
You're piloting.
The idea is the product is applied the same way that fruit waxing is applied, but on commodities that don't have any solution nowadays, like peppers, tomatoes, cucumbers, but also to replace synthetic agrochemicals for more common commodities like citrus fruits. We are doing pilots, shipment, industrial application, and shipments to the customer. On citrus, for example, shipments to Europe to replace the synthetic fungicides with a natural product, 2-in-1 edible coating that not only slows down aging, decay, and so forth, but it gives the same results, if not better, as the traditional fungicide that are incorporated nowadays in waxes because to reduce mold. So no limitation on use, it's completely edible, it is regulated as food. So especially in Europe where they have problem with more strict regulation on agrochemicals, on use of fungicides, on maximum residue levels, we solve that problem altogether. And it is applicable also on vegetables. Now we are doing pilots on mini cucumbers in Baja California.
Oh, that would be fabulous.
It is fabulous. Some really surprising results. They have all kind of, it's not only the pathogens of common fungus that we know, they have some kind of infection that after a few days there's some kind of slime on the cucumber.
I've experienced that in my refrigerator.
Well, we postponed that. We gave at least 5 more days to the mini cucumbers. We still don't know why.
Oh, that's amazing.
But it's an exciting new product.
How is it applied?
Well, it's exactly the same way like fruit vaccine, it's just spraying and brushing, but you don't need heating, especially in vegetables where it's really not a good idea to heat the vegetable.
So is it in like a processing line or do you do it in the field or where is the application?
Good question. Well, the first product is for post-harvest. In the case of citrus, they apply the mix of wax and fungicides at the end of the processing line before packaging. We replace that, the combination, and the same sprayer, brushes, no need for heating. In the case of specialty vegetables, we have a working prototype of machine that works exactly the same on the same principle. Just normally those kind of facilities don't have any kind of apparatus to apply, and it dries instantly in ambient temperature. So it's just brushes, brush bed, and a sprayer. Really minimum amount. It's a liter, 0.5 to coat a ton. Depends on the apparatus normally. And now we are also going to start, we're working towards starting a project in Ethiopia to apply it in the field.
Oh, wow.
Because it's so easy to apply. Normally when we do trials, we do it by hand.
Yeah.
It's just a drop of formulation. It's water-based emulsion. Technologically speaking, you only need 1 micron on the coating. When you look in a microscope, you can see the cells, unlike traditional waxes that you don't see. The wax is a very thick layer. Ours very thin. You can see the cells on the cuticle.
So in the field, would they spray it like with a sprayer, or is it in the water that they wash with?
It's going to be like very low-tech apparatus that we came up with. It's really cool, but it will take place between the harvest and just when dumping it into the drum to collect it.
Okay.
That will be the point of application for the small farmers where they don't have packing houses. There are no infrastructures, there is nothing. So we aim for our product to be truly applicable anywhere by anyone.
And what's your commercialization strategy? Will you sell through distributors or you? Yes, okay.
Exactly the same way that agrochemical are sold to packing houses nowadays. Nothing new, the same way, the same standard pricing, the same way of application. We are not introducing any disruptions in that manner.
What's the biggest challenge when you go to talk to someone to trial or you talk to distributors? What's the biggest challenge for people to try the product?
Well, the biggest challenge would be introducing, well, if you're talking about vegetables, introducing new machinery to the packing house. It normally takes a few cycles. We do a trial, it's very small, but there's such high variability between fruits and vegetables, even in the same packing house. Different greenhouses, you get a bit different results. The added value is constant. But what is the added value depends on how the fruits or vegetables, how they start their lives. So it takes a few trials, and then you need to subject the trial to the real supply chain, and then the pilots introducing a new machine to the operation. That would be a challenge. In citrus, it will be easier. It's a bit, well, the market is dominated by the traditional conventional products, waxes, and fungicides. But for long maritime shipments or shipments to Europe. There is such a great need. There the challenge is even lower. Everybody is looking for a solution.
Mm-hmm. So you were in our Fresh Field Catalyst Accelerator program, as you mentioned. Can you tell me your impressions of that and what some of the tangible benefits were for you to be in the program?
First of all, it was fun. We started in the Immersion Week, and I learned a lot. It's not just about, we at Sufresca, our coating, we started with peppers when it was a university project. But now our portfolio is much bigger. It's different vegetables, different fruits. So learning about the supply chain agro practices of all fresh produce is very important for us. Actually, it's my job.
Yeah.
As a VP product. We learned a lot about leafy greens, about adoption of technology, which was the main idea in the program. And I was very happy to learn the willingness and the openness and the possibilities of adopting and trying new technologies by potential customers, by growers, by different brands. And the program really introduced us to all kind of different point of views, retailers, processing facilities, because as we are always looking to see how we can help. We are trying to make a business case. We need to see where the problem is, how our solution can be applied. And in that sense, the program really contributed immensely.
Great.
So
now we're here at the show. What do you think of the show? You've had half a day on the floor since it's opened, and what's it been like for you?
Well, it's very interesting. It's really hustling and bustling. And the show is a really good place for us as it focuses on fresh produce. We have all the major brands here learning about new technologies, new collaborations. Also, speaking of the program, it really gives a platform for new collaborations. I'm really happy to be here. It's been a pleasure. I'm really looking forward to the rest of the day and tomorrow. The sessions, the different conversation I've been attending are very interesting. I'm really happy to hear that the focus is shifting towards packaging and sustainability, and it's getting more attention.
Mm-hmm,
this is exactly our sphere.
Right.
Everybody's coming. It's the only place where you can meet everybody at the same place.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to be here.
Great. Well, I'm happy to have you here, and thanks for being in the program, and I enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks to our listeners and watchers for hanging in for another episode, and we'll see you soon. Hi, I'm Vonnie Estes, the Vice President of Innovation at the International Fresh Produce Association, and I'm very happy to talk to Agustin about his experience in his company. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Agustin, to give your name and your company and what your company does.
Yes, okay. Thank you so much for having me here. My name is Agustin Büchert, and I am one of the co-founders and Chief Science Officer at ClearLeaf. We operate out of San Jose, Costa Rica, and we developed a sustainable pesticide for agricultural use.
And how long have you been in business?
We are turning 8 years this month.
Wow. So tell me a little bit about what your technology is and what it does and what problems you're solving.
Yes, we have a product that's a liquid emulsion based on elemental silver that is used to prevent and fight any kind of microbial disease in any kind of agricultural setting during post-harvest. With the added benefit of being completely safe to animals, insects, humans, and the environment. I like to say that this is a pesticide that is as safe as a medical product because it was originally designed as a medical product to prevent and treat infections on humans. It is approved by the FDA, and we later on adapted to plants. we are currently on the market registered and selling in 4 Central American countries. We are selling mostly for horticultural crops, tomato, watermelon, potatoes, some banana, pineapples, and flowers for the post-harvest.
And when does the product have to be applied?
The product, since it's completely safe for workers and for consumers, it can be applied at any point of the growing cycle, from sowing, growing, up to the day of harvest, and even during the post-harvest to extend shelf life and protect products from overseas transit.
What's your status in the U.S.? Do you need to get additional registration? Or what?
Yeah, we need to be registered with the EPA to be able to sell here. We are in the middle of a global expansion process. We have ongoing registration processes in countries like Colombia, Japan, and Australia. And the United States is next. So a big part of what I am doing here is trying to better understand the market and getting everything ready for the EPA registration process.
In the countries that you're already selling in, what's your go-to-market strategy? Are you selling direct to producers, or are you using distribution?
No, we sell through distribution companies. In our 4 current markets in Central America, we try to partner with the right agrochemical distributors in markets of interest and offer distribution rights in exchange for the registration efforts.
Mm-hmm. And do you find it difficult to train? It's always when someone else is selling your product, it's always, they aren't quite as enthusiastic as you are about your product. So how do you train them, and is it pretty comfortable for them to sell it?
Yeah, we are in a nice spot there because we have a sustainable startup with something very innovative, very new, with a product that actually works very well. So that makes people enthusiastic to want to work with us.
And are there any handling requirements or restrictions?
No, it is completely safe. You can literally dip your hands in it, and you're gonna be okay. So that makes handling very much simple.
So you were in our Freshfield Catalyst Accelerator program. Very happy to have you share. Can you talk a little bit about the program and the benefits that you got out of the program?
Yes, that program was amazing. We were able to learn a lot, make a lot of great contacts there. It came at the right time for us in our history because of this global expansion process that I was mentioning. Because we were able to talk to a lot of people, a lot of growers, and learn a lot about several crops that are grown in the US that are not grown back home. We were lucky to launch a company like ours in a country with a tropical climate because a whole bunch of different crops are grown there. With the exception of, for example, row crops or winter crops that are more common here. So, while I don't expect any adaptation for our product because our product is truly multi-crop and broad spectrum, it was great to be able to see and understand a bit about how the industry works.
What surprised you about just learning about the produce industry? Mostly, we spend a lot of time in California, but what was the biggest learning there?
Well, for us outside of the US, we always see the US as this technology, this technological monster, right? Where everything is technified and everything is big and everything is large scale. But actually seeing that in farming, that was probably the most shocking part for me. Seeing these huge farms and doing this really cool stuff, like robots and drones and lasers, and it's really cool to be talking about robots and drones and lasers and not talking about Star Wars, but about agriculture. I think that was awesome.
That's great. Can you give me one tangible benefit that you got for your company, either someone you met that might be a customer or something that's very tangible that you got from the program?
Yes, we got several contacts we need to do field trials with them. Right? We are in an industry where we need to trial our product in different crops, in different settings, so that customers can see the product working. And we made great contacts with great companies, large ones that are willing to test our product and allow us to increase our database of trials.
Great.
So what do you hope to get out of the show in here?
I hope to meet more people, more networking. We brought here some samples of another product. Our main product is the agricultural one. That is the one that farmers like for their farms. And we also have a home garden version of it, which is pretty much the same product that I mentioned. That is what you buy at the store to protect your plants at home. So if anyone wants to stop by my booth, there's going to be something there.
Great. What's your reaction? I mean, the show floor isn't open yet, but just your reaction to being here and being at the show. What do you think?
Similar to what I was mentioning about the farms, everything is so big.
Yeah.
So large scale, and everything seems super well organized. So I'm really looking forward to working on the show floor tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be amazing. Try to give yourself some time to walk around and see everybody else because it's incredible. And eat lots of samples.
I will.
Well, Agustin, thank you so much for being part of the program and for being on the podcast. And I'm not going to have an excuse to keep in touch with you all the time, but we should definitely keep in touch and
Sure. And,
see your progress.
Thank you so much for inviting me here, and I will keep you updated on our progress, of course.
Great, thanks. Okay.
Thanks for tuning in to Fresh Takes on Tech. See you next time.